Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 2 and we have chosen Celcom Axiata Berhad for our presentation. First and foremost, I will be sharing some important information regarding the company overview and background of Celcom Axiata Berhad. Celcom Axiata Berhad is the first mobile operator in Malaysia and currently one of the biggest telecommunication companies in this country. Being established in 1988 as the subsidiary of Axiata Group Berhad, Celcom provides the widest and most extensive 2G, 3G, and 3.5G coverage, serving 98% of Malaysia's populated areas, while its 4G covers 76% of population. In addition, Celcom has been bridging communications and is advancing towards integrated multi-access multimedia services, and Internet of Things IoT solutions, in line with evolving technologies and consumer expectations in Malaysia. With its 34 years of experience in the telecommunication industry, Celcom's knowledge and expertise in fulfilling the needs of its 40 million users is no longer in doubt. It also indicates that the company is a big player in this particular industry. That is why the core business of Celcom is prepaid and postpaid mobile voice services. However, Celcom also keeps growing rapidly in various mobile broadband, mobile commerce, enterprise solutions, and bulk wholesale business segments. The national lockdowns resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic had created greater demand for data services and shifted network congestion patterns to residential areas from business centers or office buildings previously. Furthermore, new social and safety norms led to an increase in daily usage patterns as well as a significant rise in the use of digital tools and software for learning, working, and entertainment. Celcom is not an exception to be one of the companies that were affected by the lockdown. Next, we will be discussing the pandemic impacts on the company or the industry as a whole. Our group has categorized the pandemic impacts on Celcom and segregated them into 1. Interactions, 2. Operations, and 3. Data cybersecurity. The first one is interactions within the organization. As the Movement Control Order (MCO) had been imposed by the Malaysian government to break the chain of COVID-19, therefore, the employees and workers need to stay at home and communications among them need to be done online. Consequently, it is required to have a strong internet connection to ensure that the information conveyed from the sender is received properly by the receiver. According to the Malaysian Digital Association, the traffic for video conference platforms such as Zoom, Google Meet, and Hangout indicates an enormous spike in its trend during the MCO period. Therefore, it shows that the company was relying heavily on those platforms in order to ensure that it can manage, coordinate, and monitor the work of its employees. Moreover, the disconnectivity in terms of communication also creates difficulties in communicating on online platforms. This is because some matters will be more convenient and easier to be discussed and explained in person rather than online. In addition, work from home requires strong and stable internet connection to conduct meetings, as different housing areas will have different levels and quality of coverage. Therefore, it will be hard for those who stay in poor coverage areas to join any video conference or online meetings.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Hazim. Another impact faced by the telecommunication industry is in terms of operation, which is the disruption of the supply chain. This is because Celcom Business Enterprise Unit is closed during the MCO. The salesperson is not able to meet the customers. The process of delivering Celcom products such as prepaid, postpaid, and internet plan subscription is low. This happens especially to new customer who wants to switch to Celcom telco service. Firstly, they need to buy a new SIM card regardless of whether it is a prepaid or postpaid plan. The fast and convenient way to get the SIM card is by going to the physical stores or booth. Register it on the spot. Other ways they can opt is by purchasing and registering the SIM card online. Then wait until the SIM card arrives at home. The delivery process might take around 2 or 3 days depending on their location. As we all know, at the first phase of MCO, the customer courier service faced many issues such as congestion of parcel at the sorting center and shortage of manpower at the warehouse. Moreover, Celcom had to cancel the roadshow to promote new products to the customer. It was really difficult for marketing to be done in a significant manner. As a result, the number of sales decreased during the period. During the MCO, most people stay at home or work from home. The usage of mobile internet increased significantly. People can communicate using online platforms such as Google Meet and Zoom. Celcom faced network congestion, especially in areas which have high density of residents. The infrastructure that Celcom has right now cannot cater the high usage of the network at the same time. As the connectivity is low, this will reduce the customer satisfaction. Thus, we can see that COVID-19 affect the operation of Celcom in terms of disruption of supply chain.
Assalamualaikum. I am Ahmad Munir Zakiri. The third major impact that the industry on the company had to face is related to the data and cyber security. This is due to the increase in the telecommunication user. Although increase in user will result in increase in revenue, it also will increase the risk of the data and cybersecurity as more parties will interested in getting those data. This will create the opportunity for them to sell that data to other parties and can also lead to the hacking issues. Moreover, increase in data will require the company to take extra care on the data. For example, they need to upgrade their data storage to accommodate the availability of data. But it's hard for the company to upgrade it as most workers are required to work at home during COVID-19 outbreak, especially during MCO, as per reported by the H markets. It will be hard for the operator to test the storage during MCO, thus will lead to the halt on the operation. This will result on the decreased efficiency on the data use as the server will be slower than before. Moreover, a statistic by Department of Statistics Malaysia, DOSM, shown that the number of cyber threats complained in Malaysia has increased drastically in 2020 from 10,426 number of complaints related to cybercrime in 2019 to 2,805 number of complaints in 2020. As there are a lot of cybercrimes cases happening, customers will have the tendency to avoid giving their personal information during buying the products and services that the company provided, which may affect the sale of the company as well as the industries.
Next is evaluation of Celcom's corporate strategy. Is it designed to handle major unanticipated events such as the COVID-19 pandemic? Well, that's what we are going to discuss in this section. First of all, Celcom's corporate strategy is becoming the next generation digital champion through digital telecommunication, business, and also more infrastructural growth. This corporate strategy was proposed by Axiata Group Berhad, the parent company of Celcom, and will be implemented on each of its subsidiaries and operations around the globe, including Malaysia's Celcom itself. The important matters that were highlighted in this corporate strategy are sustainable business growth, network quality and coverage, digital inclusion, and digitalization and modernization. One of our group's overall comments or evaluations on this corporate strategy is, this corporate strategy is not helping the company in preventing any unanticipated event from happening, as it only focuses on having competitive advantages over their competitors. For instance, one of the important matters that Axiata proposes in that strategy is to improve network coverage and internet speed, as the company's strategy is focusing on improving its performance in terms of modernizing its internet operation through digitalization. We can assume that this initiative cannot be used to address the external issues, which are complicated, unpredictable, and uncontrollable. So, if any unanticipated event happen, they could not react and address it properly.
Second, the imposed digitalization strategy as stated in their corporate strategy does not highlight the use of websites as the platform to sell its goods and services. Although digitalization is very convenient during COVID-19, it is still not fully utilized by the company, as we can see that physical stores and booths remain the modus operandi of selling its goods and services. It can be seen that brick and mortar businesses are the ones who struggle a lot to sustain their operation during the pandemic, as e-commerce started to grow rapidly when the lockdown was imposed. Leong in 2020 has stated that for the first half of the year 2020, the online average basket size for Malaysians showed a rise by 24% compared to the same period in the year 2019. With the value of USD 3.68 worth of Malaysia's e-commerce market, it can be a justification that this industry is a huge and profitable market that needs to be strong in order to fulfill the purpose of becoming the next generation digital champion. It also can be said that during the COVID-19 outbreak, Celcom are not ready yet to operate fully digitalized.
We're moving on to the next point. One of the corporate strategies is focusing on network quality and coverage. Celcom provide a good quality of networking and it cover a wide range of areas such as in rural areas. The price that they offer is affordable for the consumers. Celcom has made several improvements to ensure the efficiency is achieved. Strengthening the coverage will contribute to the long-term value creation not only for the business but also for the people, shareholder as well as the communities. Celcom had designed the network to be resilient and reliable to provide continuous connectivity to the users. Nowadays, the 5G network has gained a lot of interest from the industry player. Celcom also implement various measures to support 5G to equip the customer with the latest technology. From the future plan of Celcom regarding network and coverage, we can see that it was not designed to handle the pandemic crisis. This is because the implementation of the strategy require resources such as materials, manpower, and also expertise. For example, Celcom already planned to improve coverage by planting more fiber to tower project. However, during the MCO, our country border and the construction sites are closed. The workers do not allow to come to the office. As a result, we can see that all the project has been postponed due to COVID-19. This will directly impact the infrastructural growth of Celcom. Thus, it shows that the corporate strategy cannot handle the unpredictable events such as COVID-19 because it affects the ongoing projects. Moving on to the risk management framework, which is Axiata Enterprise Risk Management Framework. In terms of geopolitical risk, the Axiata Group operates in footprints that are affected by political instability, civil unrest, and other social tension. To mitigate this risk, the group works closely with the respective OpCo management, leveraging their local expertise, knowledge, and ability to continually assess the changing political scenario and have in place various measures to ensure a timely response in the event of such occurrence. Next, in terms of operational risk, the group relies on third-party vendors in many aspects of business. Axiata Procurement Center role is to manage this risk. They monitor the performance of the vendors and develop new relationships to reduce the dependency. The group operates and assets spent across wide geographical locations are subject to risk of supply chain disruption. Business continue to plan, address these possible risks through a systematic identification of critical business process and adequate recovery action. In terms of cyber and privacy risks, the sensitivity of our customer personal data record of communication, and factors relating to their use of internet and digital appliances are our priority. Celcom instills digital trust and confidence in our customer through robust privacy and cybersecurity policies, framework, and management. Moving on to the next point, the magnitude of impact for operational risk will be major. The customer will notice and criticize the negative impact as a whole. In my opinion, it will be difficult for Celcom to monitor all vendors to ensure their performance meet the requirement. The risk management framework does not help Celcom, especially during unprecedented events. The framework does not emphasize the availability of the resources. For example, they cannot cater to the high traffic network which cause technical failure. Thus, it will affect the Celcom operation because the risk is not well managed.
The next evaluation or comment for ERM is no proper initiative in addressing political risks such as government intervention. As the Malaysian economic system is mixed, therefore the government will intervene in the market of this country if necessary. Consequently, it is hard for the companies to avoid or control any government interference towards the economy or the industries. For instance, when the Malaysian government imposed the policy to implement Movement Control Order (MCO) to break the chain of COVID-19, the businesses had no power to go against the order, which resulted in some of them closing down their operations due to being unable to operate properly.
Celcom has put a lot of effort to address on the issue related to data and cybersecurity. We can see it from the data and security risks that they have mentioned in the ERM framework, where there are a lot of initiatives that they had addressed so that they could convince their customers as well as their shareholders on the cybersecurity. We could see that Celcom already have the idea on how they can reduce the risk. They already anticipated on the existence of the risk and how can reduce the risk impact to their sector. As for that, all the initiatives that they took undoubtedly can sustain their business for another several years. This cannot be denied as a way to increase the customer trust in the company. However, there are still no proof of the success on the framework implemented. Even though they mention about the trust and confidence that they want to put on their customers, there is still a possibility for the data to be hacked or leaked by an insider or outsider, as cybersecurity keeps developing throughout time, and people will become more creative day by day, and they will do by any means to get the information. Besides, they are not mentioning on how they can increase the security in the data transfer during the COVID-19, as data transfer need to make easier for the staff to transfer it, as they need to use the data while working remotely.
For the last part in our presentation, we will be suggesting 3 detailed strategic recommendations for the company to address the pandemic-related impacts, indicating clearly how the company needs to amend its strategic plan moving forward based on the lessons learned from the pandemic. The first one is, as it seems that connectivity issues become the main concern for the companies to operate during the lockdown, increasing the implementation of work from home for the employees can be considered as a good solution in addressing this issue. The national lockdown resulting from COVID-19 has affected most of the employees and workers in both public and private sectors. Based on this situation, it indicates that it is necessary for the companies to start evolving from working at the office to gradually imposing working from home in some of its operations. Some departments that do not require any physical contribution or services, such as top and middle level of management. Those people who fill up these roles can just delegate the work and make decisions just by staying at their homes. The labor productivity of Celcom that shows an increasing trend by 9.6% in the year 2020 can be an indicator to justify that working from home is not as bad as we think. This is because the productivity of the employees will increase by working in a convenient environment. According to Forbes, remote working does not result in decreasing productivity, as the employees can adjust the setting of their workplace that makes them feel comfortable.
Moving on to the next part. Based on the impact of COVID-19, Celcom must improve their operation. This is because during COVID-19 outbreak, the company operation was disrupted by several factors such as the supply chain. The supply chain is an important aspect for Celcom because it connects the business to the customers. Celcom must encourage the customer to use eSIM card instead of physical SIM card. At the same time, Celcom must provide a better infrastructure to support the sophisticated technology and high demand from the customers. This is to ensure no network congestion occur and improve the speed of the connection. The use of eSIM card will make the distribution of the product efficient. It will ease new customers who want to switch from other telco to Celcom. This is because eSIM card does not require customer to wait for the eSIM card to arrive. They can simply switch to a different network by phone call or online. eSIM cards are getting more demand. According to Grandview Research 2020, the global eSIMs market size was valued at $8.03 billion in 2019, and it is expected to expand at the compound annual growth rate of 15.8% from 2020 to 2027. This is a good opportunity for Celcom to attain more profit in the business.
Our recommendation on the data and cybersecurity is that Celcom need to heighten the cybersecurity awareness among their staff and their customers. This is to make sure that all of their stakeholders have the knowledge on the data and cybersecurity that are related to the company as well as the industry. Thus, trust among the stakeholders can be improved and customers will be more open to share their personal data to the telco. Furthermore, they also need to secure their data internally, as data storage is very vulnerable and easy to be hacked. As their workers have the authority to look into the data, there are higher possibility for the workers is exposed to the cyber threats, as the hackers may targeting them to get into the data. One way to protect the data is by regularly changing the passwords on the server. It may look basic, but dictionary attack is one of the common and fastest ways that hackers use to hack, as password is vulnerable to attack. Password that stay the same will over the time be shared and become common knowledge to co-workers and can be easily hacked. Password should be changed at least every 3 months by data operators. This can reduce the possibility of the data storage to be hacked through dictionary attack. Moreover, the company shall regulate the different password for each department as a precaution. This way, it will make easier for them to detect which department are exposed to the risk and will take action on the risk faster.
Thank you for watching. That's all from our group.